Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. I'm Rob, and this is the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable. That is Galen. He is living in the basement. He's well lit. Not that he's been drinking or smoking. I mean, he's got good lighting. To the best of our knowledge. Vishal is upstairs, and frozen, which means he's going to be spending some money today, is Chris Perry over there. We're going to talk about some really interesting agricultural ventures. One of them is called B-Vectoring out of Mississauga, Ontario. We've spoken to the CEO, Ashish Malik, on this website. It's delightful. B-Vectoring, B-E-E-B on the Canadian exchange. We'll also talk about RiceBran out of Texas, RIBT on the NASDAQ, only traded in the US. And CubicFarms out of Langley, British Columbia. Dave Dennison is the man. He's the CEO. TSX, and that is CUB, C-U-B. How about that? Vishal, you're digging the agriculture. You got resources going, and you've got agriculture going.
Yeah, for sure. And you just said CubicFarms is in Langley. That's actually sort of nearby where I live. So maybe I should go visit the HQ.
Do it.
See what they have down there, right? But yeah, as you said, Rob, I love my agriculture. I love my metals as well. I've been writing the agriculture sector roundup on Equity.Guru, and we've covered many popular companies in this space. And here are three more, which again I think are very unique, and we see a lot of innovation, right, in the agriculture space. I really do believe also long-term, you're already hearing food inflation, food prices, supply shortages, geopolitics, shelves empty at stores, all this kind of news about agriculture. And I think that's going to be attracting some more investor money. And let's not even forget like unpredictable weather patterns, right? Creating issues on planting and harvesting crops. I think that's going to be a ongoing story maybe for a couple of years here. And believe it or not, I think it's probably already taking effect this year, and we'll find out, I guess, in fall when we start harvesting what happens. But yeah, I think agriculture is going to be, getting a lot of investor money, and we've called the ball on this, right? We've said since last year, watch the space, and I gave details on why, and I think all of them are now coming true. In terms of specific companies, again, we have three here. B-Vectoring, I think, is one of the most innovative and unique companies in the space here. And, you can see here, nature's solution for healthy crops. And what they do is they use commercially reared bumblebees or bees to ensure your crop yield, and also to protect them from pests and pesticides and all that kind of stuff. So it's great because it also means you're not going to be using sprays and pesticides on your plants, which, is a huge thing nowadays with people wanting to make sure that there's no sprays on, the plants that they are about to eat and stuff. But also these vector packs, like these bees, the way they pollinate, and the dispensary technology that B-Vectoring has allows crops to yield more. And there's ongoing case studies that are occurring right now. Some of the crops are blueberries, strawberries, sunflowers, apples, tomatoes, canola. They are also doing a big thing on almonds right now, which is huge in California and in the California market. And I think this is just a very exciting play where if this technology proves, and it's already proving to protect plants from pest and disease management, but if it can increase crop yields, I think you have something where, and I'm going to quote the CEO in Maddie's interview, but basically we're looking at agriculture where you want to try to use the least amount of resources to create a larger crop yield now, right? So, less pesticides, less water, I guess in a way, less land as well. And you want to find a way to increase that crop yield. And I think with B-Vectoring, you have something just unique. And again, using nature's solution. And I just love these agriculture plays. We've talked about a few other companies, remember, using mustard seed, right? Where they're looking at basically all these things that Mother Nature has provided us and harnessing that, putting in a technology And I just love that kind of innovation, when it comes to agriculture.
Well, I'll tell you what, also very exciting on a very basic level is we've constantly heard recently about the diminished population of bees in general around the world. They're being just destroyed by mankind in various forms. You mentioned poisons via pesticides.
Yep.
It's become an issue. So the fact that, that they bolster the population in a way, it's just a real basic bonus because, man, we don't want to be losing all our bees.
It's funny you bring that up because I've always thought that would be a good question to ask, the CEO as well, because yes, I've heard about that too, right? A lot of bees gone missing, and I barely see any in the cities anymore.
I can answer that one.
Okay.
The reason they're using commercially reared bees is so they don't actually have to go to nature to remove bees from the environment.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That just adds to the problem. Compounds the problem. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And then from bees, let's go to another company here that's, I was going to say near and dear to my heart because it's the first company in my inaugural agriculture roundup, but also I guess it's close by near my house, technically the HQ, and this is CubicFarm Systems. I think this is a well-known company, and essentially, they deal with indoor farming solutions. It's an ESG company because these pods or the indoor farming pods, they have a low carbon footprint as well, increase the yield of food, and a lot of this is automated. I mean, literally, it's you press one button and the machine will take 6 weeks. It'll do everything, the temperature, the water, all that kind of stuff to grow your food. And I remember talking with management about this company, and they're mentioning how, the young people love this. And, let's face it too, right? Farming is such a labor intensive thing to do. And, he was just joking about how in the future, maybe some of you young guys don't want to be farmers or too lazy to actually go out there on the fields to till and crop and plant. You guys would rather love pressing a button and everything is done for you. So CubicFarms, indoor farming, I think this is also going to be very important in the future, especially you can see here CubicFarms is already talking about the supply chain, saying, hey, if we're going to have to deal with supply chain issues for food, why don't we grow food indoors? Because, you don't necessarily need farmland. There's countries that aren't well endowed with too much farmland, right? So a lot of the stuff can just be dealt with these pods or indoor farming. And I think it also resolves the question about unpredictable weather patterns, right? If you can't really predict what's going to happen, why don't you just control the weather pattern yourself, doing stuff indoor? And, CubicFarms is one of those companies that is making moves in indoor growing and in this technology. And I think this kind of stuff you're going to be hearing a lot about in the future. And I do believe that even Jeff Bezos has invested in not CubicFarms, but some indoor farming company as well in the US. So
I think
very unique. And I think it is the future. If you have some money to invest, I think looking at the bigger picture and looking at indoor farming may be somewhere to go. Finally, I want to bring up rice.
Galen doesn't have to get his boots muddy, which is
there we go. Yeah, you don't need to.
Which is ultimately what this comes down to. We've been talking quite a bit with CubicFarms lately and getting information about them. They're not presently a client of Equity.Guru, but really interesting company. And Maddie will be speaking to Dave Dennison, their CEO here very shortly. So they're going to be around us on here in the very near future.
Awesome. And then finally, RiceBran Technologies. And this one, as Rob mentioned, it is traded on the US exchange on the NASDAQ. Probably the hottest stock in agriculture right now. I've seen so many posts on social media about this company. Maybe, there's pumpers, I don't know, but a lot of people are excited about this company. And what RiceBran Technologies does is they actually have a technology to stabilize and, extract fresh, raw rice bran, which is like the outer layer here of rice. And it helps, ensure they carry their vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And you can, I'm not a nutritionist, but you can read about why rice bran is healthy in terms of blood sugar and cholesterol and all this kind of stuff. very popular. And of course, rice is stable for a lot of people over in Asia. A list of their products. I thought I had that list here, but I can just find it for you guys here. But basically, they have multiple products here. And the rice bran itself can be used for products for human food, for nutraceuticals, and also for animal food as well. So they're covering a bunch of markets there. And, we're going to look at the charts in just a bit. But recently, a lot of fundamentals about rice itself has been coming out. We've heard India here. India has banned wheat and also sugar exports. And there's rumor that they're going to ban rice as well. So, with the supply chain issues and food issues, unfortunately, unfortunately, some countries are going to be trying to protect what they have rather than helping other nations out. And, they want to protect their own food security. And India accounts for 40% of the rice exports in the world. They are the number one exporter of rice, the good old basmati rice, right? So that's a rumor right now, but maybe, if India has done wheat and sugar, rice could be next. Well, and speaking about rice, Vietnam and Thailand are looking at potentially coming together to increase the prices of rice, because Vietnam and Thailand are the second and third largest rice exporters in the world. Again, India is number one. Vietnam is saying, oh, no, there's nothing really going on here. But, this could be something we're seeing, right? Where countries might say, hey, we have a lot of food. Why don't we use this to our advantage? And, there's this idea now of a rice cartel being created amid a global food crisis. So I think RiceBran, the stock itself, we'll look at the charts in just a bit, but I think the fundamentals here are also positive for what might be coming in the future.
As Galen has actually mentioned on previous roundtables, when it comes to resources, we have to have certain things. It's just a reality. It's going to happen. And this isn't the other example, agriculture. Everybody's got to eat, and we got to figure out a way to kind of feed the world, right? And I think that's kind of the overarching message to this whole damn thing, is figure out different ways to do things. Hey, Galen?
Sure. Okay. I'm not going to talk at all. I'm just going to let this pass on because we've been trying to make these at 12 minutes and we failed. So basically, I'm going to say I like what I see. I think agriculture is an interesting sector. And I think these companies are good examples of things that you can look at and invest in. And I'm going to let Vishal tackle the charts and see if he can do it in 2 minutes. Can you do it in 2 minutes?
Perfect. I was going to say this is a Vishal short, it looks like, but B vectoring, let's talk about the chart here. We did break below previous record lows at 23 cents. You've read my work on B vectoring. This was a big level I've mentioned many times going back to 2021. Broke below it, but this is where things start to look pretty good, because in the recent weeks, the stock momentum has not declined lower. We've managed to range, which is a good sign. And we've also closed above my downtrend level here. And I think if we can reclaim 23 cents here in the next few days, that's going to go a lot into creating some sort of reversal here. So B vectoring, sure, there is a breakdown. However, there wasn't much momentum, which is hinting to me that the selling pressure is exhausting and we're about to see buyers step back in. CubicFarms, let's be honest, not a great 2022 for the stock. We were at $1 earlier this year. And we began ranging earlier this year. We broke below $1, and now we're heading to that 50-cent zone, which is an important psychological zone. And on the 27th of May, we did see about 400,000 shares traded on that day, so big volume. And we see this wick here as well at 50 cents. So it does look like we're going to be seeing some sort of, we hope to see buyers hold this 50-cent zone. What I want to see personally is I want to see enough buying pressure to get us back above 60 cents here, which, as you can see in the past, is a big resistance zone, or technically it was a big support zone, now is acting as resistance. And you can see here, we actually did have a few days where we were testing it, and unfortunately, we broke down. So keep an eye out on CubicFarm to see if we can find some sort of pacing here. And then, RiceBran is just probably the best looking chart that I'm watching right now in this space. Again, we have the fundamentals, like I mentioned, for the stock itself. Just a lot of things, technical things that I look for. We have our reversal pattern confirmed. You can see the stock was curving, and now it looks like we're beginning a new uptrend. We broke above 63 cents here, and as long as we can maintain daily closes above 63 cents, we are going to make new highs on this stock, possibly even to $1 sometime this year. And the even better thing is every time we go below 63 cents, there's always a big group of buyers stepping in and getting a close above 63 cents. And trust me, guys, this stock sees a lot of volume, like millions of shares traded. It's almost like a cult following now on social media. So I really like the technicals on this stock, and this is the one that looks like it's going to be making gains, I guess, the quickest here in the short term.
Which raises the question, how much money are you spending, Galen?
I like the sector. I like everything that is going on with it right now. These companies, I'll split and even across whatever is going to get me to 7,500 evenly. So that's how I'm going to play it.
2,500 times 3.
There we go.
Correct?
I believe that is exactly what Chris Perry is going to do.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
Because he has no say in the matter, which leaves us with Michelle.
And that's exactly what I was going to do as well. I really do like all three of these companies. I think RiceBran here is the one that, it has the better short or medium term movement here in the stock price, whereas B Vectoring and CubicFarms are going to be a bit more of like a longer term hold or investment.
That's worthy of a bell. All right, we're going big. 2,500 bones per 7,500. Put everybody together per on B Vectoring, BEE on the Canadian exchange, RIBT on the NASDAQ, and CubicFarms, which is on the TSX at CUB. Can't guarantee results from past performance. Also can't guarantee that anything Michelle has said today will come true, but this is advice to add to your research and education. So please go out and do that before you invest. And we'll see you on the next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.